Hey everyone, thank you for joining our webinar series, InfoPulse. We have Ajoni Tech Solutions with us today. So Paul Caputo is our guest speaker. He has over a decade of experience, but with Ajoni Tech Solutions, it's dedicated to transforming work and learning environments through innovative, interactive display technologies. They provide high quality, scalable solutions designed to boost engagement and communication within corporate and educational settings. So, Paul Caputo, he is a well seasoned technology executive with over 2 decades of leadership experience in IT strategy, cybersecurity, digital transformation. Paul has oversaw operations with annual revenues exceeding $50 million, leading teams in delivering innovative IT, telecom, and cybersecurity solutions across the education, healthcare, and government sectors. He is a co-founder of a successful cloud computing startup and an expert in regulatory compliance, including HIPAA, Education Law 2D, and the New York Shield Act. Paul specializes in building secure, scalable infrastructures and managing large-scale technology initiatives from concept to completion. He's also a published author and a passionate advocate for strengthening cyber resilience through proactive planning and risk management. So thank you for joining us, Paul. I will let you take it over from here.
Well, Jackie, thanks so much. That was quite the introduction. And I really appreciate you having me here today for this webinar. And today we're going to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and that is enhancing organizational collaboration using interactive displays and Google Workspace. We're going to talk a little bit today about, we're going to give you an introduction to Google Workspace. We're going to talk about whiteboards. We're going to talk about 4 very important letters, EDLA. We're going to get into that. Benefits of EDLA. We're going to talk a little bit about success stories, and they're going to do a little bit of a short demo. I'm not the type of person who loves to kill you with PowerPoint slides. So certainly if you have any questions that come in, please stop me in it and I'll be happy to answer them. So let's get started. Well, let's talk a little bit about Google Workspace first, right? We all use Google Chrome. We all use Google for searching program or hypervisor. What else does Google have? Well, Google Workspace is a whole collaboration or a whole group of products that you can use to enhance your business or school. Things like docs and sheets and things like that. The beauty of Google Workspace is that it's available anywhere. Next week, I'm on vacation. I'm going to Myrtle Beach. I'll still be able to have all my documents, all my worksheets, all my files ready for me to go using Google Workspace. It also allows you to collaborate, which is great, right? So you're able to actually share, have real-time collaboration. So let's say you and I were in a meeting and we were discussing a document, or we had a massive spreadsheet that we were dealing with, right? We'd be able to collaborate real time. Think about that for a minute. I could be in New York, you could be in California, you could be halfway around the world, and we're meeting together and collaborating together on documents, on spreadsheets, on anything we like. There's a product called Google Meet, which integrates all that stuff together. Now, you probably work with a lot of different remote type of meeting spaces. You have Zoom, some of the competition, a lot of phone vendors. They include your meeting space with it. Google Meet is special. It's secure. It's encrypted. It allows you to go to different work areas. You can have a true meeting using Google Meet. So that's a little bit about what Google Workspace does. But what's these interactive whiteboards? For years and years and years, and I have a very good friend that keeps calling them smart boards, right? For years, they were called smart boards. That's kind of like calling tissue Kleenex or a copy machine a Xerox machine. They were the first to do it. So as a result, that you hear that term a lot. That's nothing more than an interactive whiteboard, which, as you see behind me here, they're large displays. They allow you to be interactive. They allow you to do things, collaborate. They're great for training. Traditionally, these whiteboards were used in schools, right? So a teacher would get up and they would do their lecture and they would draw circles and they would use it as a whiteboard and they would do their lesson plans on it. It's changed. Interactive whiteboards, digital signage, that is now all going to the corporate end. Think about it for a minute, right? You have this webinar we're doing. If this was local, I'd be using my smartboard. I'm the type of guy who likes to get up and make circles, integrate and annotate, and work interactively with my audience. Interactive lessons in the schools. Think about this for a minute. There's a lot of students out there that don't want to raise their hand and ask a question. They're able electronically to ask that question of the class, and it should go right up to that whiteboard where people can see and the student doesn't feel like they're intruding. It adds accessibility to your classroom. Now, here are those very four important letters: EDLA. EDLA certification stands for Educational Digital Literacy Assessment. It was originally designed for educators. It was originally designed so that as a teacher, you're able to go in and use Google to the fullest availability, be it Google Classroom, be it Google itself, the Google programs, Meet, basically certifying you that you're able to use technology effectively in your teaching strategies. With EDLA certifications, educators enhance their learning experience, making them more engaging and effective for students. So that's on the teaching side. But what about on that interactive whiteboard side? Well, EDLA came out and said, listen, Google came out and said, listen, you guys love Chromebooks. You guys love your Android phones. What about other devices that use Android, such as interactive whiteboards? So EDLA came out and said, listen, we're going to start certifying hardware and we're going to certify whiteboards. Basically, a Google Workspace with EDLA certification gets you the latest version of Android 13. Android 14 is coming out. The good boards will automatically update to Android 14. Comes preloaded. Because it's EDLA certified, just like your Chromebooks, just like your phone, those whiteboards will get automatically updated. Your apps will be updated. Your operating system will be updated. Your security patches will be updated. Native to the board will be things like your Google Docs, your Google Drive, your Google Sheets, your Google Play Store. All those apps that you're accustomed to using in Google Workspace will work on the board flawlessly. More times than not, an EDLA certified board will have Google up there and running right on the boards, ready to use for that instructor, for that corporation. That's a huge benefit when you think about it. When you can get up in the morning, use your board, and any application that you want that works on your Android device, be it your Android phone or whatever it is, will work on that board. And we're going to give you some examples when we do the demo in a few minutes. So we're going to facilitate some of this stuff. Here's some little examples of what we've talked about, a little nice slide, a nice filler slide, as they're called in our Google Workspace, right? Where we talk about interactive whiteboards. We talked about the Google Workspace integration, and we talked about engagement and participation. Think of it this way. If this was a live seminar and there were 50 people in front of me here, it would be a lot more interactive. I'd be able to go up to the board. I'd be able to have things where you're able to actually touch and feel the board. And that is what helps people learn, those tactical learning ability. So let's talk a little bit about some outcomes and some success stories. Obviously, in the classroom, an interactive whiteboard is needed, is essential. But let's talk about some other things where interactive whiteboards will work. Police departments, fire departments, libraries. Anywhere you have a training mechanism, an interactive whiteboard will enhance your learning, will make it more collaborative. Think about this for a minute. If you're a superintendent out there of a school district, if I said to you, I could find you a way to increase your test scores, would that get your attention? Studies have shown that districts that use interactive whiteboards have higher test scores and that's because not only of the Google integration, but of the software it has in it. Let's say you're doing a training program, and in that training program, you have some multi-language learners. Boards like the one behind me, they will take what you're saying and translate it into a different language. So if you have a group of, you have a blended classroom, or you have a training seminar where your native language is English and you're speaking to folks that native language might be Spanish or Russian or whatever, they will be able to get translated, your spoken word, right on the board. That's a huge savings. Okay, so this enhances your overall learning experience. Do you guys have any questions before I go into the short demo?
There was one question, Paul. What tools or workflows can improve real-time collaboration across departments?
Very good. Some of the tools that you have are the standard Google tools, Google Word, Google Docs, excuse me, Sheets, and things of that nature. But anything that you use as a software product, so we use these a lot in healthcare, where they have on the board their large daily routine. So patient one in room one is patient Joe, and Joe needs meds at 2:00, and that's kept by the nurses station. So that's just one example on how the native tools within an interactive whiteboard with EDLA certification helps you achieve that collaboration.
And then another one, and this is more so geared towards education, but can Google Workspace be used to facilitate parent-teacher communication securely?
Absolutely. Google Workspace is encrypted. I know as a parent, I did this as a parent. I was able to watch what my child was doing through Google Workspace. I'm able to get logged in and see their results. I'm also able to connect through Google Classroom to see what my student is working on, my child is working on. So yes, it does help with parent-teacher engagement.
Perfect. Those were the only questions we had so far, Paul.
Good deal. So now if you excuse me a second, I'm going to minimize this. Now I'll have a copy of this board on the screen here for you to see. I'm just going to walk over to my board over here to show you a few things. Okay, cool. So we have a board here. It's the one screen T7. I love this board. It's one of my favorite boards out there on the marketplace. It is fully EDLA certified, right? So we're able, anything in the Google store, I'm able to get here. This and boards by VTI, Virtual Technologies, are my go-to boards because they have that EDLA certification. From a hardware perspective, they all have 8-core RAM, which is 8-core processors. Has 256 gig of RAM. It's able to be used for conferences as well. It's got a 7-array microphone. You can put any kind of camera up there you like. There's actually a port back here for that. There's all kinds of ports on this. You can connect it to your PC, your Mac, whatever the case may be. Or you can run it as we're running it, which is native Android 13. Couple of things here. If you notice down here, you see all my Google apps, right? So I can press this button here, and here are all my Google stuff that I can deal with here. There's Google, Chrome, Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Drive, Meet, all photos, all that host of Google goodness. Over here, we talked about widgets, right? So here are the widgets. You see here, I want to bring up a Google Word doc. I can click the doc, bam. All my documents are here. I can use a keyboard if I want. I can handwrite if I want. All part of the Google Workspace, all part of Google, all native. You saw how quickly that came up. That's what makes these boards work great. Same thing if you want to do Sheets. Here it is. Here's our Google Sheets. Notice it signs in as my Google member. It remembers me. When I have my sign into the board, it remembers who I am. This particular board has a beacon card. And what this beacon card does is if I'm an instructor or if I'm a member of my staff, I can keep my Google credentials right on this card and log in using this card, which is really, really cool. So here I am in Sheets. I can go in and a perfect spreadsheet. Now, this is all completely collaborative. Assume for a minute that you're in a group, right? You're in a classroom. You're doing a demo. I'm in New York. You're in California. Jackie's in Florida. We can all work on this spreadsheet together. And let's say I have 5 or 6 people here. I'm able to collaborate with them as well. They're able to connect to their computer, being able to connect to the sheet and go in that route. The Google Play Store. Anything in the Google Play Store is completely compatible if you're EDLA certified. If you're not EDLA certified, yeah, sure, you can get to the Google Play Store. But guess what? It may not work, right? Interesting thing. I had a company who did, they were music. They taught music to people. And the guy said, this is great. I love the interactive whiteboard. I love everything you've told me, but I want to have my students, he was a drummer. I want to have my students be able to actually create music. I want to be able to put YouTube on the thing, on the board, play a drum solo, and be able to have my students figure out what notes it took to do that drum solo. Well, lo and behold, in the Google Play Store, there's a product called Flat. And he goes, oh yeah, I've used Flat. Flat's a great program. I use it on my phone. I use it on my Chromebooks all the time. Will it work on this board? Because this was EDLA certified, because it worked flawlessly with the Google Play Store, he was able to download it, work on it, and create beautiful music as this is loading. You can use whatever, in this particular, you can use whatever instrument you want. He made some notes. I'm going to hit play here. You should hear some drums, hopefully. I think that's called a paradiddle or something like that. So he was able to do that. As you see, there's all the different toms, the different symbols, whatever you want. You could certainly just hit a button and here it comes and put it on the thing there for you. And there it goes. I don't know. I'm not a musician, so I don't know the notes, but he was really excited about this particular program. And you can do that with any application. Earlier today, I downloaded ChatGPT. I can run ChatGPT on this board without an issue, right? Because it is in the Google Play Store, it is Google certified, and you're able to use it. And you can continue on ChatGPT and go from there. I did some other applications here for you. I was able to I do a lot with WhatsApp. I don't know if you guys ever use WhatsApp. I've used a lot with WhatsApp. So here's WhatsApp. I'm able to use that here, Friendly TV. I had some folks, my kids were here one day and they wanted to watch something on Friendly TV, and I was able to download it. And it's able to work just natively. And that's what EDLA is all about. It's all about doing that native applications, that native stuff on there, the native things. Of course, any good interactive whiteboard will have that ability to do that interactive whiteboard piece, right? Where you're able to say, X plus 2 equals Y. I'm not a mathematician, but there's something that you can do. Beauty of this whiteboard is things like this is you can bring in a browser, and let's just say you're looking for dogs, right? So here's the dogs. I can split the screen here. I can put the dogs to the right. I can put my whiteboard to the left, split it up. See this nice, cute little dog? Bring him over. And there he is in my interactive whiteboard piece. And this, think about this for a minute. You're doing some collaboration. You have pieces in there. You want to be able to bring it into a whiteboard and actually annotate right there. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to make it bigger, make it a little smaller, whatever you want to do. That's what an EDLA certified interactive whiteboard will give you. So I wanted to make the demo short. I know we're all short on time. Do you guys have any questions? Any other questions come in, Jackie?
Yeah, we have a few here in the chat. One of them was, can you optimize licensing based on department usage?
Absolutely. So every one of these here, right? Every one of these licenses that you have, there's a beautiful back end that comes with these whiteboards. So let's say, for example, you have a group, you have the accounting group that needs 10 licensing of QuickBooks. You're able to download it from your Google store, put it using the back end, and you'll be able to control the licensing in that regard. Whatever works in your Google Play Store, whatever applications you have that take care of licensing is native to the board because it connects directly with your Google login.
And then that was a great answer. Thank you for that, Paul. Another one was, how can we track engagement and usage of tools like Google Meet or Classroom?
So the back end of these boards, they will tell you what is used by whom. So you're able to see that Google Classroom was used on this board 50 times in the last week. You'll be able to see, like oftentimes in both corporations and in schools, you buy all this software and you never know if it's going to be used or not. This is one way for you to tell if that actual software is used. It'll show you what app is used the most, what app is used the least.
And I think that definitely, helps them navigate, decision making in terms of like what they're utilizing for their classrooms and, where they should, keep their investments at. But there was one last question. Can you integrate Workspace with our existing identity access management tools?
So that's a little bit trickier of a question, right? So if it's just Workspace, you're going to need some third-party software. If you want to integrate logins with your interactive whiteboards, because they're EDLA certified, you're able to do that through your normal Google login, or you're able to use an item like this, which is the beacon card, to be able to log in and use this throughout your environment. So this, anything with an RFID card that you need to connect to, you'll be able to use your Workspace or whatever login you like.
Okay. And we did have one last question sneak in here. And this again is more towards the educational side of things, but do you provide policies or templates for managing student device access?
Absolutely. One of the things that Azoni does is we are an innovator in the K-12 space. So we have developed policies and procedures using our fractional CIO model for school districts. So we're able to actually go out there, create board policies for you. We've developed a number of one-to-one educational systems, right? So students with their Chromebooks. We took a school district that had over 40% breakage and lost items and got them down to 10%, which is about the average out there for a larger school district. So those are the reasons. So yes, we were able to do that. We were able to create policies. We were able to create cyber incident response plans, disaster recovery plans, educational technology plans. One of the things that we have done is we helped develop the first K-12 makerspace in New York State, and we were able to put everything in place for that educational technology needs. I could help whatever school district asked that question.
Perfect. Those were all of the questions that we had, Paul.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time. Very much appreciate it. Certainly, I'm sure Jackie will share my contact information with anyone. If you have any other further questions, feel free to ping me. Looking forward to it. Jackie, thank you very much. We very much appreciate being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. We're very, grateful that you were able to take the time out today and, grace us with your knowledge on this and give us this wonderful presentation. If you are interested, feel free to reach out directly to Paul. We'll be sending out an email to everyone who registered for this with his information, as well as my information too. You can always reach out to me and I can make the introduction. Is there anything you would like to leave anyone who attended this with, Paul?
Do your homework. There's a lot of boards out there. There's a lot of folks out there on Amazon, which is a great platform. Do your homework. That's what I'm suggesting. Make sure that EDLA certification is real. It costs a lot of money for these manufacturers to get EDLA certified. Make sure it's real, because I've heard horror stories where folks bought a board, they went to the Google Play Store, and it didn't work. So
wow,
that would be my suggestion to all of you.
Yeah, you can never be too careful these days. So getting, as many consultations as you can, just exploring your different options, making sure you do your own due diligence, because again, you can never be too careful. So some very sound advice, Paul. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys next month.
Thank you. Bye now.